What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and it's very rare for the middle of August to greet us with as great news as we're going to talk about today. We got a double dose to bring you on today's show. Make sure you guys stay tapped in, locked in, because it's going to be a good one, and make sure you stick around, okay? Because the second thing we're talking about today, that second of the double dose of great news, it has to do with a certain rival. Now, I'm not going to tell you which rival that is. It may be a rival we play on the third Saturday every October. I'll let you fill in the dots. Speaking of that rival, alrighty, the Alabama Football Report is still ahead of us in this week's sub-battle. We've closed the gap, okay? A lot better. We're still down 4 subscribers, okay? I need you guys to help me out. Hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. Does not cost you a dime. And what you get in return is every single day a free video on your Tennessee Volunteers. Lock us in if you hate Bama and if you love the Vols. So the first stint of great news that we're discussing on today's show, Joshua Josephs was back at practice for the first time in like the last 2 weeks. This is big for the Vols, okay? This is absolutely huge because, yeah, I have a lot of high expectations for Joshua Josephs this year. I promise you, I got some really high ones. And I think he's a phenomenal player. But regardless of how good somebody is, it doesn't matter if you're in the National Football League, if you're a freshman in high school, or if you're a sophomore in college, you need these training camp runs to get back into shape and to get back up to game speed and get ready for the season to kick off. And over the last 2 weeks, he wasn't getting these because of this injury, and now he is back. Ryan Schumpert was the one who filled us in, saying the most positive injury update was Josh Josephs, who was back full go on the practice field after like a week and a half off. Joey, why are you so excited? Joshua Josephs had a fine year last year. I can hear all of you guys saying that in the comment section right now. 39 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, a sack and a half, 3 forced fumbles, which led the team, which was really, really exciting. But the thing about Josephs is there might not be somebody higher on him than myself. I've said this before on this very show. You can go back and watch the injury news segment we did on him last Tuesday. I think he can have a better year in 2025 than James Pierce Jr. did in 2024. I know it's a hot take, but that's how much I believe in his ability. And it's going to take a lot, right? Pierce, 38 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, 55 pressures. He might not get up to the pressure number, okay? That's pretty large. But everything else I think is definitely achievable for Josh Josephs. And part of that reason is because he's played this game a very long time. But I also think his mindset and him just as a person and a man, he's matured a lot over the offseason. And he spoke on why last year wasn't the best year for him. Honestly, I feel like last year, there's a little jealousy in me. I could see my boy James. He was turning up, and I felt like I wasn't playing the way I wanted to play. Instead of worrying about the next man, you've got to worry about yourself. Strive for yourself and not to impress other people. And I think that change of mind is going to help him immensely in 2025. I think the fact that he's not going to be worrying about what the next guy is doing, how many sacks the next guy has, and worry about what he's doing, how many sacks he has, worry about himself, that's going to make all the difference, and he's going to need to. Because if you look at the lost production from last year, James Pierce Jr., now in the National Football League. Omar Norman Lott, now in the National Football League. And I don't know if you remember this, but Omar Norman Lott had an 8.9% pass rush win rate last year, 18.9% pass rush win rate, which led all defensive tackles in college football. This dude got to the quarterback at a better rate than any other interior defensive lineman in the NCAA. So yeah, him leaving too, that's going to have to be made up for, and hopefully Josh is the one that's going to be able to do it. He's got big shoes to fill. I get that, you get that, he gets that as well, but I believe in him that he's going to be able to fill those shoes. And it all starts right here in training camp in August, okay? You don't get 7.5 sacks just during the football season. That preparation, that work, that starts in early August and in late July. And the fact that he's been out the last 2 weeks and he's finally back, that's massive for this team. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this online, but John Mateer, quarterback at OU, is in a little bit of gambling trouble. So it's John Mateer time on the channel right now. Do your best impression of him. 8.5 sacks for Joshua Josephs. Are you going over or are you going under? Let me know in the comment section down below. The second dose of great news that we're discussing today, Alabama has named Ty Simpson as their starter for the 2025 football season. They were undergoing a similar quarterback battle to the Vols over the last couple of months, but everybody kind of knew the whole time Ty Simpson was probably going to be the guy. And this isn't coming from a place of Ty Simpson didn't commit to the Vols, and I hate him, right? Because I was watching his commitment live stream on Instagram in my bedroom sophomore year of college. But I just don't know if I believe in his ability as a quarterback, if I'm being honest. Like, when I saw that news yesterday, I was walking my dog. I looked down at my phone, breaking, Alabama names Ty Simpson as a starter. Like, that made me physically smile. I think he's a fine quarterback. But is he a great quarterback? I don't think he's anywhere near that. There's a reason. He hasn't been the starter yet, and this is like his 4th, 5th year in college. And I get the argument when it comes to Alabama that I'm going to get, either from Tennessee fans or Bama fans. They're going to say, Joey, Alabama won a national championship with A.J. McCarron and Greg McElroy. They don't need a good quarterback. They also had Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, and they ran the ball 60 times a game. Show me the Mark Ingram on their roster. Show me the Derrick Henry on their roster. Kalen DeBoer isn't an I formation, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of offensive coach like Nick Saban was in the mid to late 2010s, or mid to late aughts, I should say. Sure, he switched things up. He won a national championship also throwing the ball 60 times. But like A.J. McCarron and Greg McElroy didn't win them those championships, okay? And I think Ty Simpson is comparable to those guys. Now, I do respect him for staying at Bama. I don't want that to be lost on anybody, okay? What he did, staying at Bama for a very long time when he redshirted and Jalen Milroe got chosen to start over him, like, that's a really, really rare thing these days in college football. But just because I respect him does not mean that I believe he's a great quarterback. Because I don't. 6 games played last year, 6 games played the year before that, 4 played the year before that. He just hasn't played a ton of college football. And to be the starter for Alabama, running an offense that Kalen DeBoer runs, typically I feel like you'd want to have a little bit more of an experienced guy in there in terms of live game reps. Now, they don't have anybody on their campus who's that experienced in live game reps. That's why they went with Ty Simpson. And I will say, Ryan Grubb joining Kalen DeBoer yet again. They've been together their whole careers. The fact that they're back together, I think that's going to help Ty a lot. That's going to help this offense a lot. But regardless, I think Ty Simpson being the starting quarterback for your biggest rival, I think that's great news because at the end of the day, I kind of think he's just a guy. And I'm not saying I'm better than he is. There's a reason I'm talking on a YouTube video and not at Alabama training camp right now. But it's my job to analyze these situations. If you hate Alabama, show me by liking today's video, okay? If you hate the Crimson Tide, if you hate everything that has to do with red, if you hate Tuscaloosa, if you hate Bryant-Denny Stadium, if you hate Nick Saban, if you answered yes to those questions, you got to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you got me on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram as well. I got like 950-something followers on X. Can we get me to 1,000 by the end of the week? I need you guys to help me out. Give me a follow. I tweet about the Vols every single day. You'll find links to both those social medias in the comments and description of today's video. And that's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in. If you have not joined us yet, today is the perfect day to do so, okay? This channel's growing like wildfire. Fastest growing UT football YouTube channel on this platform. If you're not with us yet, make that change today and subscribe.